Greetings, friends, and welcome to today's dose of inspiration. This week we are continuing on with the subject of love, because yesterday I explained to you just how important love is. It is the defining characteristic of someone who claims to be a Christ follower, and it is the thing that sets Christians apart from every other faith there is. Now, that's not to say that people who don't yet belong to Christ can't love, because in some ways they can. But a supernatural impartation is given to those who give their lives to Christ in order to love in a very profound and supernatural way, a way that unbelievers will never be able to love. As a matter of fact, when speaking on this subject, we can read in the Bible that the idea was put out there that you love those who do good to you, but what does that testify of you? It is the ability to love those who are hateful to you that defines your character. Wow, that's pretty deep. Think about that for a minute. Being able to love those who's good to us, everybody can do that, sinners as well as those who've come into a relationship with Jesus. It's pretty easy to offer our love back, our respect, our gratitude to those who are good to us. But let someone cross our path that does us wrongly, and then maybe it's not quite so easy. You know, the Bible tells us that we are to love our enemies, and that can be extremely hard to do. That is the kind of love that we have to wait on an impartation from heaven, because there is no way in our humanity that we're ever going to be able to do that on our own. The thing I wanted to talk to you a little bit about today is the selfless acts of love. Love does not seek selfish gain. It's not about self. When you truly fall radically in love with Jesus and an impartation of a supernatural ability to love hits your soul, you will not do things from a selfish perspective. Now, that's a little bit hard for us to fathom and to understand, because outside of Christ, just about everything we do is motivated by self, how a situation is going to affect us. The Bible says that no greater love has someone than this, than to lay down his life for a friend. And of course, we see that exemplified in Jesus when he loved us enough to go to the cross, and he laid his life down in a physical way. Sometimes that will be required of us. Think back in time to all the brave men and women who have ever been part of any nation's military force, and you will see that the love they had for their fellow countrymen drove them to the ultimate sacrifice. But did you know that laying your life down for a friend can also mean in a mental, spiritual, or emotional way? Absolutely. To lay your life down for a friend sometimes means that you have to set your own desires and needs to the side in order to fulfill the desires and the needs of someone else. To not always push to get your way in a situation or circumstance, but to actually step back, lay yourself aside, and let someone else have their way. Now, naturally, that can get out of balance, and that's not what I'm talking about today. I'm not talking about laying yourself aside to the point that you become abused and become a doormat. But there is a place in this thing called love to put yourself on the back burner and prefer others as more important than you. And friends, that can only be done with a supernatural impartation of the love of God. Stick with me this week, and we're going to talk about this a little more and take you a little bit deeper into this thing called love. I want to thank you so much for watching today. Until next time, I pray that you will walk in the favor and the blessings of the Lord. See you soon.